Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm back with another knife review. Today we're going to be looking at the Kershaw Launch 1. This is one of three launches, Launch 1, Launch 2, and Launch 3. They're all the new 2015 automatic series by Kershaw. Pretty awesome knives. Really good value. They're all coming in right around $80, $90, $100 range. This one is $95. They're all also very similar in size and weight. They're all weighing in at under 4 ounces. This one's 3.9 ounces. And they all have this new CPM 154 steel that Kershaw is starting to use, which I'm happy to see. I think it's a better performer than a lot of the Sandvik blade steels that they've been using. So it's nice to see them step it up to a more premium blade steel, at least in comparison to what they've been using. I know a lot of people, including myself, have used some of the Sandvik blade steels, and it's performed just fine for what we're using it for. But anytime I get a chance at little to no markup cost to use a better blade steel, I'll take it, and I was really happy to see that they did that here. What you're looking at is a 3.5-inch blade. It's just under 3.5 inches, 3.4 inches to be exact, and they're saying it has a 3.5-inch cutting edge, and I think that's probably because they measure their blades like I do. I use the forwardmost point of the handle, which would be here, and I measure from here to the tip, and I did that with this, and it was just under 3.4 inches. It was like let's say 3.8, 3.9 inches. And then I measured from the beginning of the cutting edge to the tip, and that was 3.5 inches. So I like that they use so much of a swooping cutting edge here, a lot of belly, and you get a lot of cutting ability from the length of this blade, so that's really nice. This is a flat grind, and you have a nice swedge on the back here, almost kind of like a harpoon design, harpoon drop point if you will. I really like that. It's a really cool look. And let's see if we can pick this up really well. You have a acid stone wash, or a BlackWash, I think is what Kai calls it. But it looks really nice. It says Kershaw Auto there. You got these new, nicer pivot screws that you see there that you've seen on some of the zero tolerances, and you have this really cool, almost like a bullseye looking target button with the red there. And on the other side, you have that same beautiful finish. And there's a model number, made in USA, that's right, and the new CPM 154 that they're using. Love that American flag, that's awesome. Same pivot pin, pretty standard Kershaw pocket clip there, works fine. One thing I wish that they had it positioned at an angle so that way they could mount it up higher. Kershaw has a habit of having a lot of their knives have a large portion of the handle sticking out, more than I prefer anyway. I would rather it be more like that. So it doesn't have to completely bury in my pocket, but I'd like it to have, just enough to get a good hold of it. Not a deal breaker by any means. I love this knife, but just something I would have preferred. Aluminum handle. The handle thickness is 0.47, so it's fairly slim design, very nice in the pocket. You have a 8-inch overall blade length from tip to tip. And nice curvature. The handle kind of slopes downward. This is going to make it very easy to use this knife in a defensive stabbing role, and it's just easier to kind of articulate the blade downward and start using that belly without having to arch the hand forward or downward as much with your wrist. So that's really nice. Feels good in the hand, has really nice side profile as far as ergonomics go. It's only going to be so ergonomic because it is flat and not contoured, but the angles that they cut out of the handle here on both sides and the chamfering that they have, so many angles. At the flat front side you have the chamfer right here, and then you have the other angle, and the same thing on the back here. You have the flat side, you have the chamfer, and then you have the actual machined angle portion of the handle. So it's kind of feels like it's contoured a little bit in the hand, and it really is pretty comfortable. So nicely done there. It's really cool what they're doing with all of the volt the Volt, with all of the launch series knives, they're kind of making it look like an integral, like not an integral, but a single piece of aluminum that it's been machined from. That the handle is one piece of aluminum, when in reality it's not. It is two pieces. You can kind of see the seam there. Sorry, I got some dust and stuff in there. But I really like, it's almost kind of a custom look. It looks really nice. And in the last part here, you have the lanyard hole. You can kind of see the backdrop poking through there. That's where you'd string your lanyard through and it would come out here. Very nicely done. Looks very nice. It is a plunge lock, as it is a automatic knife. Very fast deployment. The lock, as you push the button in, removes this little plunger, pushes it up, has a spring pushing it back out. So when you push up, it gets it out of the way of the blade tang. You can then fold the blade closed, and it has a very strong spring. So you can do this with one hand, okay, and close it again, but it is very strong spring. But very fast deployment. Nice spring to this this automatic knife. Very nice. So I really like the design. Kind of a broad blade. And I really like, it's a good EDC option if you're comfortable or allowed to carry an automatic knife. And I think it offers great value for, you know, under $100. You're getting a really solid auto knife from Kershaw, made in the USA, with good blade steel. And it looks pretty good. One thing I really wish they would have done, since in my opinion this had potential to be a tactical folder, it lost it all when they decided not to give it any traction. It is a smooth aluminum handle with no jimping. You know, the finger choil is there, but it's not even as predominant as something you'd see in, let's say, like a lot of flipping knives because of the tab that sticks out. So it's way too slick. Unfortunately, I would not put it into a tactical role. I think it's just a really cool everyday carry knife, again, if you're okay with carrying auto knives. I think it's very comparable to the Kershaw Knockout. It's a flipper knife, assisted flipping knife. I think they call that their speed safe. And it is very thin as well. It's actually a little bit thinner. Instead of 0.47 inches thick, it's 0.4 inches thick aluminum handle again. So very thin. This also weighs 3.8 ounces. The launch weighs 3.9, so virtually the same weight. It's $73. So it ranges depending on the version you get. You can get one all the way down to, I think, like $68. And then if you want to step it up, I think this one's like $75. And then more recently they released some new knockouts that have LMAX blade steel in it. And I think if you get the BlackWash, those are going for like, I want to say like $115. And then if you want to get the LMAX satin finish, or I'm sorry, it's Stonewash actually, that's $120. So I think that's the most expensive knockout you can get. Other than the blade steel, they're all the same. You can get different finishes and colors of the handle. I think the new LMAX ones come in a really cool, like a brown or a flat dark earth handle. I really like that. This is the OD green. And then the most base model has a Stonewash Sandvik steel like this has, and a black aluminum anodized handle. All of them feature the sub frame lock here with a steel lock bar for the frame lock part, and it's screwed in on the inside of the handle to the aluminum. They all feature this plastic spacer on the back here. And as I mentioned before, this is using a Sandvik 14C28N blade steel, which is not as good as the new launch series knives that they're using, that CPM 154 blade steel. CPM 154 is definitely a better blade steel than this. So whatever variation you get the knockout in, it is very similar. It has, you can get it in a black finish, you can get it in a Stonewash finish. but it has still a very broad, wide, stout blade. Not that it's wide. It has very similar, if not the same, blade stock that it's using. So there'll be good cutters. They're not overly thick, but it's got a very wide blade. The depth of the blade is very, very, very big. So the blade is a little bit shorter on the Knockout, as you can see, but they're similar designs. And similar weights. If you think about it, you're getting a little bit more knife in the launch for just anywhere from, let's just say on average, $20 more for the Sandvik steel, and you're saving quite a bit. Probably $20 on average less if you're comparing it to the Knockout with the LMAX. So you're either spending just a little bit more or saving just a little bit when you compare it to the Knockout, and you're getting a really solid blade steel and blade design with a lot of cutting edge on the launch, and it is an auto. That being said, I do have to say I think that the Knockout still is very comparable as far as speed goes. It's very fast in comparison to the automatic knife. Very similar. So, and that's the case with even manual knives like flippers. If you do it right, you can usually make them almost as fast as an auto. This has, when I say it's a similar blade design, that's true, but you have a full flat grind all the way up. Well, actually, they're saying that this is a hollow grind. Kershaw says that. Maybe that's true. I can't. You know what? Maybe that is true. But it's so gradual and goes up so much. Yeah, maybe it kind of peaks up here. So maybe that is a hollow grind, but it's so gradual. It could really be mistaken for a flat grind. It's a really good slicer, and you have this little swedge here on the back. And you can deploy the blade with the thumb studs. I would prefer they don't even have them there, especially since it's a flipper. All that does for me is it just gets in the way when you're trying to cut through like cardboard or something. You can't cut in as deep on the blade, so they should have just gotten rid of that. Lockup is pretty good. Let me just do my little test here and squeeze on that and push. The lockup slid over on the Knockout to about 70-75%. So whatever. This isn't a knife I'm really going to hard use because of its overall design and thickness. It's something I think medium to slightly heavy work it can handle. Again, I wouldn't put this into a tactical roll just like the Launch because it's smooth, slick aluminum handle. It does have these cool milling design in here, but that's not going to give you any extra traction. And there's no jimping. Again, I think that's a miss. Kershaw needs to start putting that on every freaking knife they make. You can, on both of them, switch to left-hand carry, and on the Knockout you have quad carry, so you can do tip up, tip down, if you really feel like doing tip down carry. Anyway, but yeah, you can do right or left, which is great, and you have the flexibility to do righty or lefty on the Launch as well. So I think they're comparable. Again, the the Knockout is a little bit shorter, but it's very similar in design, very lightweight. They're both great options for everyday carry, and they're both very good values. For the base model of the Knockout, getting into something like this for $65, let's just say, and if you want to step it up and get some LMAX steel and pay 120 or 113, you just can't go wrong. They're wonderful everyday carry knives, and this is a wonderful alternative to the Launch options if you're not able to carry automatic knives legally, or if you just don't feel like taking the chance. If you just want to carry it anyway, at least you'll be a little safer. You can swap out and carry a knife that's going to be pretty much legal anywhere. Even if they have all sorts of different laws for the blade. I've heard this before. Some cops don't even know the laws, and they'll put it up to the palm of their hand and say, "Oh, well, it doesn't go past the palm of my hand." so it's legal. That's not the law, but cops do what they do. So I'd rather be on their good side, and the Kershaw is a safe way to do that. You're probably going to meet every single law you can think of in most places. There's always exceptions. The fact that it does have assisted opening could be an issue in some areas. In most areas, no. I know in like New York City, you can't even legally own a knife that locks open. So, you know, even though this isn't an automatic knife like the launch here, you have to be cautious and remember that this does have a frame lock here, and you are then in, you know, in some problems if you got caught with it. So just, you know, be aware of your laws. Yeah, no, in North Carolina, I don't have to worry about any of that. So this here is an awesome option. Again, if you want something that's an automatic knife that's reasonably priced, it really is, and still offers a lot of the fit and finish and quality of materials and really good design, and you're looking at maybe an everyday carry knife that has an automatic feature, I think any of the launch series will be outstanding. I think you'll be very, very happy with it. But if you're looking for a tactical folder that's an automatic knife, I think you should definitely keep shopping, maybe for something with a little bit more traction or better design. But that's just my opinion. I'm all about making sure that I have a good grip and you know, good traction on tactical folders or something that's kind of, you know, designated for that role. So anyway, really good knives. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like if you haven't already. Feel free to leave me some comments and feedback. I always welcome that. And make it a great day.